Everybody, Sometimes Nerd here. So as part of my quote-unquote interest series, I'm going to show you something that I really enjoy, and that is Star Wars lightsabers. So let's jump on in. Alright, so the first saber that I ever bought, was this guy right here. And this is the Ultra Sabers Dark Initiate LE version 3. And it's a smaller one. And it's got the inlay here. You can see that I've actually done a mod on it where I colored in all that silver inlay to be red, kind of like the Sith look to things. It has the standard battery pack, so it actually uses the let's see if I can get it in the camera here. The 4 AAAs and a little case there. It just slides in the bottom. See if I can get it back in. Oh, it's stuck. What the heck? There it goes. It just screws back in on there. So this is the pommel that actually came with it, just solid black. I actually have a couple more, and I'll show those a little bit later. You can see this one. It's kind of a I don't know if you can catch it on the camera there, but it's kind of a purple color. This was actually supposed to be the I don't know what color Ultra Sabers calls it, but it's the Mace Windu color. I can't remember exactly what it looked like when I first got it, but it's definitely not the Mace Windu color anymore. There's something going on with the LEDs that the color shifted a bit, which, you know, not that big of a deal to me, because it happened and then it hasn't gotten any worse. It hasn't changed, and so it's kind of actually pretty unique. So when you compare it up to one of the other colors, one of the other lightsabers of the Mace Windu color, it looks kind of cool. So, yeah. Alright, so that was the first one that I've ever gotten. Now here's the next one I got. This is actually the Overlord RGB from Ultra Sabers. So it's got the 3 color selector buttons and then the main power button there. And let's see if I'll turn it on here real quick. See what I have it set on. See, that's actually the Mace Windu color right there. Let me see if I can get them next to each other, and you can kind of see the difference. The Mace Windu color is kind of a more, I don't know, fuchsia, pinkish, and this one actually has more blue in it. So, but it'll do blue. Let me start from the beginning here. See if I can get them all turned off. Alright, so I have red, green, blue. And then you can combine the colors from there. That's kind of like a light blue. And then that's the Mace, I think that's the Mace Windu color right there. Let's see. There's a yellow. Let's see what else I can do. If I can get them combined correctly. That's like an orange color right there. And I think there's a pink. Yeah, there's the pink, and that's the Mace Windu color right there. And there's names for these colors. I couldn't tell you what they are. Not that important to me. So as you can see with this one, not too much done to it other than I bought this extra pommel. I think this is called the Warglaive. And this was actually all silver, and I went back and painted in these sections with a red color. It turned out pretty well. It gets a little scratched up sometimes. Not a big deal to me. It kind of gives it a weathered look to it when it does get scratched. There's a little scratch right there and a couple more in there. And also on the bottom here, I wanted a place where I could hang this from my belt clip if I was, out doing something, in costume. So I found these little wire keychain deals. It's a loop with two ends that screw together, and I was able to fit them through this bottom end so that I can hang it off of my belt. So, and when I'm not using it, it just kind of just pushes back up in there out of the way. It's kind of a neat little idea there. Because if you get this one, actually does come with the belt clip, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of them. The little belt connector itself is like $15, and they're made out of plastic, and you could easily bump it and break it apart. So not real impressed with that. So that's why I created this. So this one also has the standard battery pack. I won't pull it out since you've already seen it. Which I actually like the standard battery pack. They make these with a lithium-ion rechargeable, which if you get one of the Sabers with sound, you have to have that lithium-ion. It drains the AA's way too quickly, so not really a good option for that. But these would be considered like a stunt saber since they don't have sound in them. Both of these, which I like. I'm not a huge fan of the sound. It's kind of annoying, I think, and plus you have to have that whole lithium-ion setup, which you gotta have these things plugged up to a power cord when they're not being used, which I don't know. I have so many cords, so many power cords, rechargers. I don't need any more. The AA's are fine, or I'm sorry, AAA's are fine. And if I really need to, I've got some rechargeable AAA's that I can plug in. They give it a good amount of power. So, and that actually kind of brings up an issue with some issues that people have with these, and I'll talk about them in a second. But I wanted to show you the actual blades that I have. So this is the one that came with my Initiate, and it's the 24-inch, which that comes standard with those. But I paid a little bit extra and got the actual combat ready version, which is a little bit thicker. I don't know if I can pull this off, this cap, show you how thick it is. But they give you these little dust caps just to keep crap from getting in there. If I can show it to the camera, you can see how thick it is. And I'll pull another one out here in a second to show you. And this one's kind of cool. It really swings well. The weight is pretty good, matched with the length, and on that little Initiate, it's fun to swing around. So, let's see, what else do I have? There's this one. I can't really fill the screen, or it does fill the screen. I can't get a full view of it, but it's an Ultra Edge, which means that the plastic is actually tinted this white color, which brings the light all the way to the outer edge of the blade itself. There is a film inside here that reflects the light all the way up through the tube to the tip, so that you can, it illuminates everything. You don't have any dead spots of light inside of it. But this one, it kind of same concept as like a light bulb, a frosted light bulb. It reflects all the light and brings it out to the edge of it, as opposed to a clear light bulb where the light just passes right through. So, and this one I think is a 32-inch, 36. It might be a 36. I can't remember. This next one, this is actually a grab bag blade that they sell for cheaper, which is kind of a damaged or just a used blade that maybe they had on display or something, and it didn't cost much. I think it was like $10, but it was really neat when I got it. It actually has the pointed tip on it. I was really happy about that. And you can see all the other ones that I have are the round tip. the pointed tip is cool for display, but when you actually have the lightsaber on, the round tips look better. That they reflect the light better, because with this long tip, the light doesn't really get up to this very tip point. So it looks a little funny. But all right, and the final blade that I have is another one of the combat ready blades, the thicker plastic material. And this is a 32 inch. Let me put these next to each other. Yeah, this one, the combat one is a 32 inch, and the pointed tip one is a 36. You can see, let me switch around here. You can see how much longer the other one is. So there are my blades. And also I have some extra pommels. So I have this one right here, which is it's similar to the butt, to the pommel of this one right here, except it's silver and it's not solid. It's hollow. It's got the openings designed for sound coming through. And I just kind of I wanted something that I could attach to this, so I could do my little clip right there. So I switch it out whenever I need to. It's not a big deal. They come off and back on super quick, so I'm not too worried about them. And also, I have a couple couplers. Now, what these are for is for if I want to connect both of my lightsabers together, so I can have a staff. So I take the pommels off of those. This one specifically is designed to be flush, so I can the butts will be right up together when I screw these in, and they've got a little hole there that helps you kind of twist them in. You can kind of see it there, so you don't get them stuck together. And this one here, this one is designed for sabers with sound, so that the vents, the sound can escape, so it doesn't sound super muffled. It's neat looking. I don't really use it that often. I don't really use the couplers that often, but they were cheap. These things don't, I want to say this one was like $4, and this one was a couple dollars more, so it was worth it. And for when I don't want to have my blades in my handles, I have this plug that just slips right in. Let's see if I can turn it on here. You can kind of gives it a cool ring effect. This is really neat. And you don't blind yourself, because these are super duper bright. Let me point it at the camera real quick. See how bright they are. These will actually hurt your eyes if you point them right at you. So I know some people complain about the companies that make these things, specifically like Ultra Sabers, and there's also Saber Forge, and and those are kind of the big names out there for these reproductions, these stunt sabers. There are other guys out there making them, individual sabersmiths as they call them, that will custom make stuff for you, and they all get really expensive. Now, the reason I like Ultra Sabers is because of how cheap they are. This one I think cost me $65, and I actually bought this at a con. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing. I had no intention of ever buying one. I really didn't even know anything about them. I just saw it and I was like, I want that. So I bought this, and I've been super, super happy with it. And I'm probably happy with it because I didn't get one that has sound. That's really the big things that I see people complaining about online, is the ones with the sound effects. They're swinging them around, they're hitting them, and stuff gets knocked loose because of quality control, I guess, in these things. Is not the greatest. Stuff comes loose, stuff breaks, speakers get blown. That's all just what happens when you're dealing with electronics like that. So that's why I prefer these stunt sabers over the ones that have the sound effects. You know, there's other companies like I think Vader's Vault is a big one that people like, and I'm sure they're great, but I'm really not interested in spending $600 or $700 on a lightsaber. That's a bit much. I don't think that I can put myself through that. I have many other things that I'd rather spend that money on. This one right here, I maybe spent $180. I think it may have been a little bit more than that, but it wasn't much more than $200. And that's kind of by max. And then, you know, you can get these. This one is the RGB with the individual control buttons, but you can get the ones with the special computer controlled LED where it just has the one button, but then you can plug in to a port and change, you know, what color the actual LED does. And those cost a lot of money, and they require that lithium-ion pack. Not important to me at all. You know, I like these because they're simple. You know, I can throw this thing around and not have any issues with it at all. I might scratch it up. That's my fault. It's not going to break on me. There's just a couple wires in there, a battery pack, and an LED. And that's how I like it. So, I hope you guys have... If you're not familiar with lightsabers, I hope I've, you know, put some insight into it for you. Maybe you find them interesting and get yourself one. They're fun to play around with. They're fun to swing around at night. They're really, really cool. You turn them on in pitch black, and it really is a really cool effect. Hope you enjoyed everything that I've done. I love these sabers. I have a place on my wall where I hang them. They sit there all the time. Sometimes I just turn them on just for the heck of it. And it's just fun. Alright, well, if you've enjoyed this video, give it a like. And if you'd like to see more of my Star Wars lightsaber stuff, you can leave a comment if you want. You can follow me on Facebook at SometimesNerd. And you can follow me on Twitter at NerdSometimes. Thanks for watching, everyone.